be complete for the year 2016, man. But yeah, man, I'm getting ready to step out, as you see. You know what I mean? Wish you could see the little brown Gucci's and things. You know what I mean? As you can see, I'm silk tied up. You know what I mean? And I'm in the Wynn Casino currently right now, man. You know what I mean? This is where I'm residing and abiding at, currently right now, man. You know what I mean? The city of Las Vegas. Getting ready to meet up with some partners of mine, man, and get into some evangelism, man, conveying knowledge and wisdom, you know what I mean, about innumerable subjects, you know what I mean. Starting the year off right, you know what I mean. So, yeah, matter of fact, you can see a few of my partners right now. Hold on. Man, turn around. Wanted you to get a view of how the homie, you know what I mean, is stepping up tonight. You know what I mean? Young man, so for those of you, man, that don't like wearing suits and things like that, man, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, let them see the back, man. Let them see the back. Let them see the side. You know what I mean? Hold on. I gotta let you see that hair. You know what I mean? Yeah, very pimpish. Very fly, man. You know what I'm saying? We call this dipped. You know what I mean? Yeah, and as you can see, man, you can see the presentation, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, definitely another year, you know what I mean? That's my brother from another mother, you know what I mean? That's my right-hand man right there.
Blessings to everybody.
Hey, my IBMOR brothers, back again. It's something that I didn't think I would have to do again, because I did it earlier when I introduced Kevin Samuels. Didn't think I'd have to make another video like this, because I thought over time that Kevin would prove himself, which he has. And even back then, a lot of guys didn't take to Kevin because he wasn't, like Grinch says, in their flavor. So recently, I don't know where this has come from. I think it's started to come from the women's side, is that Kevin has been called gay. Now, there's been no proof of it, number one. Number two, a lot of guys think that it is because Kevin is neat. He actually has style. And that's something that has been missing amongst black men for the last 35 years. Because guys like Kevin used to be really, really typical back when I was a young man. You dressed neat, you wore shoes, you wore suits, and that's what you would aspire to. Those guys drove the nice cars. Those guys had all the women. Those guys got all the attention. Back in the day, a lot of the women called them suave guys. The higher class women called them suave guys. And us lower class dudes, we could only aspire because to be like Kevin was very expensive. It still kind of is, but those kind of guys were set apart. But now we have descended so far to that being grimy looking or being rough looking or being thug looking is what we call manly. To the point where somebody that is neat, that is clean, that is stylish, is called gay. And I guess it's because all of our women are no longer feminine. So since our women may or may not be feminine anymore or neat anymore, and they've come down to the point where women are, as Grinch puts it, drags, that anybody on the other side has to be feminine, which is something I don't understand. And I don't blame Kevin if Kevin left, because you black dudes are hard-headed. The reason I introduced Kevin, I can't say I brought him over here because he's a grown-ass man. And you can't bring a grown-ass man someplace a grown-ass man doesn't want to go. But I introduced him into my audience is because I had a lot of you guys that were stuck. You were smart, you probably made a lot of money, but you were stuck. You were stuck wearing little boy clothes, that you weren't neat, you weren't clean, you weren't polished. And Kevin is the exact person that you need to polish your image, because that's all that was wrong with you. But I still see a lot of you guys who are refusing to go over. You like being stuck. You like being grimy. You like the rough look. And then complain that you can't get any women, when the exact thing that you do need is to follow Kevin's advice. I don't know how many guys individually I had to basically cuss out to follow Kevin's advice and do what he says and follow his instructions And guess what? Those guys don't complain about anything anymore. They're successful now. They make more money. They get more women. They get more attention. Their life is a hell of a lot better. I know some guys even get more cooperation from their baby mamas because now the baby mamas see them as a different image. Believe you me, image is everything to a woman. You don't believe it? Try it. Try wearing your regular clothes one day and come back in a nice pressed suit with your nails done, with a nice fresh haircut and nice expensive shoes, and see your woman's eyes light up. She'll start to see you in a different way. First thing say, oh, you clean up well. Women are all about image. Women are way more visual than men are. Don't believe that shit about what they tell you. Women are way more visual than men are. Their nose is way more sensitive than ours. Their sensitivity to color and shape is made way more sensitive than ours. And Kevin knows that. You know who else knows that? Pimps. Now, everybody calls Kevin gay, but the guy I played just before this, Sinful P, has a lot more of what you call gay as far as his mannerisms, but he's a pimp. He gets women to sell their bodies for money. And you won't see one, I can guarantee you won't see one pimp that is not stylish, that doesn't have his nails done, that doesn't have his hair cut, that doesn't wear nice shoes, doesn't wear nice clothes, that is not neat. You won't see one. And I can tell you why Kevin, part of it is because of his personality, because he's a neat dude. I asked him, did he iron his jeans before he went to school? He said, yes. He's the kind of guy that was always neat, always on point. But another reason is the way Kevin presents himself the way he does is because Kevin learned his game from whom? Women. You can tell a dude that learns how to get women from women is because they know exactly how to present themselves. Ask any pimp, why do you wear the clothes that you wear? Why you smell that the way that you do? Is because they learn their game from a woman. Very few guys can learn how to get women or learn game from women because they don't have the mentality to actually do it. Very few guys can do that. Every guy that I know that presents themselves like Kevin learn their game from women. All pimps learn their game from women. That's how come it's so effective. The guy that I learned game from, the stuff that I spit to you guys, I learned it from a guy. Guess what? He learned his game from women. He carried himself exactly like Kevin. And he can get a woman undressed in 5 minutes. And I saw him do that multiple times. Now, just because you don't like the way Kevin carries himself, which if you did, you wouldn't be complaining about women. You probably wouldn't be complaining about money either, because those guys make a lot of money. Those guys make sales. Those guys get into elite circles because those guys can pull. And not just pull regular women. We're talking about high class women. A lot of you guys are upset is because you don't want to change. You're stuck in what you're doing. And nobody says that you have to act like Kevin or carry yourself like Kevin, because that's not you. That's not your style. That's Kevin's style. But the thing is, the elements that Kevin puts together are what you should follow. Just like if you're a basketball player, you may not be quick enough or fast enough to be using crossover dribbles and behind the back dribbles and dribbling through people. You might be a power player. You might be a long distance shooter. You might be a power player. But there's elements of the game that everybody uses to make themselves effective. Or you might be a little guy and you need post-up skills. So you have to use a different technique. And all this stuff is techniques. But the thing is, you guys are looking at presentation and swag or flavor instead of looking at the elements that he's actually putting out. All the stuff that he does will work. Everybody that has used it reports back that it works. That's how come they keep going back. But the thing is, I wish the guys that actually use it and follows his advice would actually come forward. Now, you had presenters, content creators, that had dimes like C Boogie. C Boogie's a dime. See, Boogie reported back that the shit that Kevin does works. See, Boogie says they walked through crowds of women and basically all the stuff that Kevin did turned heads. But a lot of you guys are afraid of being successful. That's the problem. And I know what you're thinking because I used to be that way. You're not afraid that it'll work. What you're afraid of is that if it does work, you're going to have to keep it up because you're going to get a reputation. And when you get that reputation, that becomes maintenance. And you don't want to do that every day. That's all it is. You're comfortable with mediocrity, but you complain about it, just like women do. They're comfortable in their mediocrity. So they complain to deflect it away. They blame somebody else because if they actually were successful and what they did get a lot of women, then the question would be, how come you don't keep it up? And you don't keep it up, it's because that's not you, and you don't want to do that every day, even though it'll get you what you want. Like C Boogie says, the nerve of you niggas. If you don't like the man, leave the man alone. If you don't want to follow his advice, nobody cares. But don't slag the man's name just because you want to dwell in your own mediocrity. That's how come Obsidian calls him Saint Kevin, because he has to be a saint to deal with you Negroes. There's an old saying in the Bible that Jesus said, never cast pearls before swine. And Kevin's been casting pearls. Now, the real dudes, the real niggas that want to improve, pick them pearls up and they go out and they make money with them. They go out and make use of them. I ain't going to tell you what the other ones do. So which group are you in? That's all I got to say. With that, I'm going to jump off here. This is BGS out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.